and I'm a critic, and we're doing the Arizona Cardinals. I know, I'm sorry, it's not a clever segue, but we're doing the Cardinals draft picks. Okay, maybe that was a little rude of an introduction, but the Arizona Cardinals have a dozen draft picks, and this video is going to be long, and I'm trying my best not to run, but also I don't want to disregard this, but yeah, the Arizona Cardinals, they got a lot of draft picks. They need to do something. They need to play catch up. I talked about the Cardinals video last year that the Cardinals felt like a team that just got the raw end of the deal, and I feel like this is the way for them to officially rebuild with the players and draft picks, and Kyle Murray clearly healthy from day one, and they just got a lot of picks, guys. They just got a lot of picks. This is one of those videos where I am addressing. This is gonna be long. It's gonna be long, but I want to give every player at least acknowledgement of some kind. So let's get to it. Okay. All right, let's get ready. Here we go. Okay. With the 4th overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver, Ohio State. Was there any doubt in this pick? I think I even heard the Cardinals may trade to get more, but they got a lot at the end, so I guess it wasn't needed. I've heard even, what if they don't get Marvin Harrison and they get, Malik Neighbors or something else? I'm like, Marvin Harrison was clearly the best receiver in college football. He was clearly the best receiver in this year's draft. He was the obvious #1 pick to be the player not in the position of a quarterback to be drafted. The same thing people thought that Dallas Turner was going to be the first defensive player to be drafted. That didn't happen. Oops. So Marvin Harrison being picked over Kyler Murray, it's obviously meant to give Kyler Murray the weapon that he so desires and he so deserves, since Kyler Murray, didn't really have Hopkins to his fullest like he wanted to, didn't have Larry Fitzgerald like he wanted to, there's a lot of great receivers that were drafted by the Cardinals that for some reason didn't really get a chance to give full of their success because of quarterback play or receiver play, so it never was synchronized. This one is officially in me synchronized perfectly. You got the young talented receiver Marvin Harrison Jr., and you got Kyler Murray, who's now 100% and ready to go for week 1. So we'll see this dynamic duo, come out of the gates and start cracking some heads, get some fantasy owners excited. So Marvin Harrison is a now sticker. If not, please tell me why. Still in the first round, with the 27th overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals selected Darius Robinson, edge, Missouri. Darius Robinson was a player that I keep hearing that a lot of people from Tampa to Miami as potentially being picked up to potentially help with pass rush department. So very similar to how I felt about how some teams addressed the offense with a captain, and now they address the defense with the second pick. I feel like they got someone to catch passes against those defenses in the NFC West. Now they got someone to sack those quarterbacks in the NFC West. Darius Robinson is clearly a now pick in my humblest opinion. He is currently being viewed as a backup at the right defensive end department, but I feel like in rotational purposes and pass rusher, he'll get his opportunities. So this to me doesn't feel like a waste. This feels like another reason. You got something to help catch passes from a quarterback, and you got someone to sack quarterback. This feels right. Then we go to the second round. With the 43rd pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals selected Max Melton, cornerback, Rutgers. Like I said, still trying to get that defense, back to shape, back to promise, since I feel like last year they were never at full strength. And them addressing the cornerback, they did get Sean Murphy-Bunting for it, and getting Darren Robinson, who is currently viewed as their, pardon me, I don't see my dude in the, sorry. Wrong name. I was looking at the wrong name. Max Melton, he's viewed as the backup to Garrett Williams. I was looking at Darius Robinson, the cornerback. My notes, got flustered there. But Max Melton viewed as the backup to Garrett Williams. Sean Murphy-Bunting, who was a Buccaneer, helped win a Super Bowl, Sadly, he's been going through multiple teams. I kind of feel bad for the guy. I thought Sean Murphy Bunting was a better corner than Carlton Davis, to be honest, in Tampa. That's just my personal opinion. But Max Melton helping out with the cornerback side, definitely a rotational player. Definitely going against their scheme effects of the Seattle Seahawks, 49ers, and of course the Rams. You need someone to help, eventually help to handle receivers one-on-one if necessary. So Max Melton coming in is clearly a now type player to help contribute right away. Yes, in rotational purposes in the right cornerback side, but I will not be surprised if it comes to a 4 receiver set, he gets brought in to eventually help cover in the slot. There's a lot of picks, guys. I'm sorry, there's a lot of picks, and I'm trying my best to give every player a chance to be, acknowledged, good or bad, something to acknowledge. So if I'm going a little too fast, I do apologize. But there's a lot of picks here. And we're in the third round with the 66th selection in the 2024 NFL Draft. The Arizona Cardinals selected Trey Benson, running back, Florida State. Trey Benson is clearly meant to eventually surpass James Conner. James Conner still played a high level last year, even though he really had nothing. He was really a one-man show. But Trey Benson could be, while James Conner always felt like he's more of the big back, guy making those catches, physical type player. Trey Benson, I feel like, is clearly in between the tackles, go behind the offensive line, break out a big run to the outside corner, or just break it right through the middle, pass the linebackers, and outrun the secondary. So Trey Benson and Conner being utilized in between there, I feel like with the 1-2 punch that the Cardinals need. Something to help out with Kyler Murray, and then instead of Kyler Murray having to run for his life because he has no one open, he's too short, or no one's open and he's too short. It could be a combination of both, whatever. But Trey Benson clearly feels to be the second 1-2 punch for the rushing attack of the Arizona Cardinals. And I feel like, honestly, I thought this seems about right. Mid-third round selection seems about right. Also a now sticker. He's also a now. Then we go to the 71st selection, the 2024 NFL Draft. Still in the third round, the Arizona Cardinals selected Isaiah Adams, offensive guard, Illinois. Another player who is right now being viewed as your starting left guard. So, I guess we're definitely trying to make sure that everybody's happy. We got new pass rushers, we got new corners, we got new receivers, we got new protection, we got new running back. We're trying to make the offense as fresh, and I feel like with the amount of players the Cardinals got, some can view it as a shotgun approach where they just shot and see whatever gets hit, they take. Or they could be strategically saying we need the best player in every position because they got a full Thanksgiving plate full of players. They got some turkey, they got some gravy, they got some sweet potatoes, they got some yams, they got some cranberry sauce, they got some stuffing, they got some asparagus. They got everything in this plate. And I feel like a lot of these players you're going to see either later or now, regardless of where they are, because I feel like they're in need of young, talented players in positions more of we need a corner in the second round. We need a 98, a 90% grade. No. They need bodies to develop to match with the players they got in free agency to keep them afloat because Arizona knows they're going into a division where they're already viewed as fourth place. And they know that they're getting to the point where some players might be on those contract conversations that they want to hopefully not make it as difficult to make a decision, yes or no. So a lot of these picks are going to say yes, and getting Isaiah Adams, the offensive guard, I think it's going to help with the rushing attack, especially of the Trey Benson conversation I just had. Proves to be warranted that he's going to help with interior inside running while James Conner is more of your power back. And of course, giving Kyler Murray more protection so he doesn't have to run for his life and heaven forbid get hurt because mobile quarterbacks always had that fear for a lot of owners and general managers and head coaches is please don't get hurt, please don't get hurt, please don't get hurt, please don't get hurt. Because we all know that as much as we know that we don't want players to get hurt, especially hamstring, calves, ACLs, MCL tears, turf toe and all that. We all know the best way to stop a football player is literally to knock their legs off. We all know that. We all know no matter how big they are. Now we all know that can lead to injuries, but we all know the best way to stop anybody is to trip them up. I'm sorry. I mean, we always told if you go too high, they can out-muscle you. So the best way to do it is to cut them up. Those submarine tackles. Those grab around the waist. But then again, we can't do them with those hip drop tackles anymore. So yeah, so it's gonna be a lot of tripping. Shoestring tackles. Just enough. So we'll see what's gonna happen, but that's the one reason I feel when it comes to quarterback running the ball is that feeling of he gets hurt in the legs, his drop back is done, his stance is messed up, and it just hinders the whole thing, especially when everything is revolved around your quarterback. And Kyler Murray just had a devastating injury last year, or still recovering, I should say. And now we're going to have a fresh start with all the new toys and bells and whistles on both sides of the ball, and be like, now this would be the first official season of the new Arizona Cardinals quarterback regime. I mean, head coach regime. So, still in the third round, sorry, a little tangent. With the 82nd pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Tip Rayman, tight end, Illinois. Trey McBride, I thought was good. They got Higgins still. A lot of teams going to a 3-receiver set. I don't know if Arizona might go a triple tight end formation, but this guy, I've heard so many positive things about this guy's character and his ability to play that I feel like he is going to make a massive impact for this Cardinal team. And I feel like he could potentially be a dynamic duo with Trey McBride in the tight end department to make the Cardinals even more dangerous in that department than just the receiving core. The receiving core is already loaded, but I feel like Tip could come in and be something dynamic that the Cardinals never had with two great tight ends, McBride and Tip. So his character is great. His athleticism is warranted. I'm still giving him a later because the Cardinals don't really run a two tight end set. But by week 10, keep an eye out. You might see him getting more catches, down the line and start developing into a deep threat, or even just a valuable physical possession receiver in the middle. So keep an eye on that guy. Then we go in the third round, the 90th overall selection in the 2024 NFL Draft. The Arizona Cardinals selected Elijah Jones, cornerback, Boston College. Another player that I feel like he is also currently behind Sean Murphy-Bunting. So we got two rookie corners being drafted in backup position already with a player that already projected to be the starters, which means rotation, potential dethronement, and also heavily evaluated players to know that there may be moments this season where we need you to step up, whether it's because of we need a breather, we need coverage schemes, injuries. So that's why I'm giving Jones the now sticker, because he's already viewed as a backup, and I feel like in today's NFL, unless you're an offensive lineman, backups just means rotation. You'll get some rotations in there to go in because, sometimes receivers or running back need a breather, DBs need a breather, and sometimes some scheme just says we need more of certain positions to match their scheme. So that's why I feel like if you're a backup and you're a defensive back, I believe you'll get some, and especially you'll get definitely utilized in special teams, because defensive backs are one of the most fastest positions in all the NFL. And also, since they play defense, their form of tackling is considered definitely necessarily needed. So we'll see how that transitions into their team, their time playing. But to me, this feels like he will get playing time sooner than later. Then we go to the fourth round, and with the 104th selection in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals selected Deron Tyler Demerson, safety, Texas Tech. Say it with me now. He's viewed as the free safety backup to Budda Baker, Pro Bowler Budda Baker. So, and Budda Baker, I know there were conversations about his contract, there was conversation about his, his longevity and his playing time, So this is another player of, not saying that Budda Baker does not warrant anything he deserves. I'm just saying that this guy's clearly meant to be here to be viewed as a potential player to be drafted, to be utilized as a new starter. Depends on Budda Baker's career trajectory. So this guy is definitely going to be a now rotational player, depth player, evaluation and under. Then with the 138th pick in the fifth round, the Arizona Cardinals selected Xavier Thomas, edge rusher Clemson, pass rusher, sack quarterback, especially in a division that are going to have a lot of quarterbacks passing the ball to a lot of brand new, a lot of, veteran receiver core. So Xavier Thomas coming into it. Yes, he is a late round pick, as some may consider, but I believe he is still warranted as a pass rushing menace for the Arizona Cardinals, and that's the reason why I'm doing it. He's currently viewed behind uh, Zaven Collins in the right defensive end, in the left defensive end department. So that's something else to be considered moving forward. It'll be that type of pass rusher to help contribute to sacking quarterbacks. And I believe, even though he's a late round pick, edge rusher, fresh leg, sacking quarterback and third and long is acceptable and necessary. With a 162nd pick in the 5th round, the Arizona Cardinals selected Christian Jones, offensive tackle, Texas. This might be our first, maybe not, because the fact that this guy is right now currently to be behind the line when it comes to it. He's viewed currently as the 3rd stringer of the right offensive tackle side. He still probably can still make some impacts in the preseason and maybe some situation because he's a tackle, and tackle can be utilized as an extra blocker. But he might just be a casualty of just too far in the depth chart to make an impact, and he might make it to practice squad and keep himself around until as the season progresses. Maybe he'll get moved up to the active roster as the season progresses. But for all I know, he could just eventually be maybe not enough playing time and may get picked up or get sent somewhere else. Sometimes that happens, but best to be an offensive lineman in that category because I do believe injuries happen more often with them. In the 6th round, with the 191st pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals selected Tijan Palmer, wide receiver, UAB. You got Marvin Harrison Jr. He's definitely your go-to guy, but also you got Michael Wilson and Zay Jones. Zay Jones, another journeyman player going around the league, trying to find a place in a home where that just feels appropriate. Palmer is, just is on the list of a bunch of wide receivers just trying to find a place in home. He's a young, vibrant young player coming in there, so maybe the youthfulness can get himself. All depends on how quickly can he get acclimated to the Arizona Cardinals offense, and also how much him and Palmer get along. Probably see more impact in preseason. I am going to give him a later because receiver is plentiful, and I believe Marvin Harrison, as great as he is projected to be, I am not going to say that Marvin Harrison is going to have 100 catches and 1,500 yards receiving and 17 touchdowns. As much as I would love that to happen, let's be real, Marvin Harrison is going to get a lot of the attention from day one because he is the #1 receiver in the NFL's draft, and that's the reason why he got all the attention. So we need to see Michael Wilson, Zay Jones, Chris Morris, Sam Barskow, Jeff Smith, Xavier Weaver, Andre Barcelli, Greg Darch, Daniel Arias, all these receivers. Somebody has to step up to help take the load and the volume away from them. So that's something else that needs to be considered as well. And then with a 226th pick in the 7th round of the 2024 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals selected Jaden Davis, defensive back, Miami. Jaden Davis is sadly on that trajectory of very, very, very deep on the depth chart. He is viewed as potentially the 4th stringer of the right cornerback side of the DB department. He'll probably get his opportunities on special teams, making tackles and making plays. We'll see how quickly he can develop. And if he gets himself on the roster spot, that might be his way to take it in so he has time to develop. We'll also see what he can do during preseason, how many plays he's going to make impactful-wise. But like I said, he is very low on the depth chart. He is a late round pick, and sometimes it might just be the case of you did everything right, but there were some that were just a little bit more polished, a little bit better than you, and he may not make it, and that's why I have him as an else, that maybe he might have success elsewhere, even though he did get picked in the Cardinals. Like I said, the Cardinals went a lot, and a lot of their picks are probably going to be playing within the first 10 weeks. Some will probably even be starting in the first 10 weeks. Like I said, the Cardinals went all out, everyone in, and I like what they did, but it's a lot. They got a lot of fresh, talented players in there. Some A+ S-class, some are B+, grade class, and some that are viewed C+, but they're probably going to be starters within the first 5 weeks of the season. So we'll see how preseason, we'll see all these guys get a chance to see who makes the biggest splash, and then we'll see how many make the 53-man roster, and then we'll see as the season progresses what they're going to do. But that is all the Arizona Cardinals selection. Like I said, they had a dozen. They had a baker dozen of it, so probably one of the best and longest videos I have. I'm proud I got that relatively fast, but also trying to give credit to everyone. The grade I give them, the Cardinals are going to be better. Just because Kyler Murray is healthy, they're going to be better. How much better? I don't know. Can they make the playoffs? I can't say that with all confidence, but I will say that I feel more confident with the Cardinals than I do with Seattle. Honestly, I really do. I feel like Seattle's draft class seemed a little weak. Didn't really feel like a splash. This one feels like a splash and then some. This Cardinals, just the draft class feels like, okay, the Cardinals took the draft assignment seriously. Seattle, you passed, but I felt like you got just enough to pass. Arizona said, we want to make sure we're doing extra credit, we're doing extra project, we're volunteering, we're coming to study session, we're coming in. You passed, dude. Yeah, but we want to make sure we pass with like an A, not just, a 77 like Seattle. We want to come in and make a splash. Now, there's no guarantee that everything's going to work out, and that's the beauty and the sadness of the NFL draft. But tell me, you don't think the Cardinals are going to be better? Could they make the playoffs? I don't know, but they will clearly be so much better. But also, I cannot just say they're good, but not yet, because I think they are better than they were, especially when last year when they literally had nobody and they still, smacked some people in the mouth. Dallas, Philadelphia. So to me, Arizona is going to be a much better team. Could they win 9 games? Yes. Could they sneak in the 7th seed? They could. I'm just not going to say yes definitively until I see at least preseason. And then I can make my evaluation then. But until then, that's why I have the Arizona Cardinals. And that concludes the NFC West. And since we're in the NFC, we're going to stay in the NFC a little bit longer, and we're going to go to the South. As we're going to talk about the NFC South next, and the team we're going to start with is a team that gave up a lot and got a lot not this year. So we're going to start with the Carolina Panthers in the NFC South to see the second year in Bryce Young's career, what have the Panthers done to try to make it better? That'll be for next time. But until then, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic. Thank you very much for watching.